Okay, so here's the homework for chapter 18. What you're asked to do is to create the Hebrew forms of these, at least in section A, of these verbs using the perfect tense for a past time action, and then using the preterite plus vav consecutive, as Ross calls it, or the WCI form or the Vayiktal form, as I and other people call it. Questions on section A, on forming the perfect and then the WCI forms of these verbs that all have past time semantics. We can do a couple of these together. Yes?
For Kohen, why does this participle act now?
Yeah. So in other words, you remember how participles can function as substantives. Like shafat is to judge, and shofet is a judging one, or one who judges, so that means a judge, right? Well, Kohen is one who acts as priest, and we call that a priest. Yeah. All right, good. Any questions about the homework exercises here? Let me just walk you through one of these real quickly then, if you don't have a question. Take the expression we broke. First thing you have to do is figure out what the verb is for breaking. What's the verb? Shavar. Okay, shavar. So we'll start with the basic perfect 3MS form shavar. Okay, shavar. And we're asked first to give the perfect tense, which means we want to do the first conjugation we've learned, right? With the suffixes that mark the person, gender, number of the subject. Pakada, right? Pakadta, pakat, pakati. So which personal ending are we going to use? We're wanting to use the 1CP, right? So shavar nu. Shavarnu. What goes under root 3 in shavarnu? A silent shava. Good. And where's my accent? We try to keep it on root 2 in the perfect. Shavarnu, unless we have vocalic endings that pull it to the end, or the heavy endings 10 and 10 pull it to the end. Okay, so shavarnu. So that's one way to say we broke. And then the second way is what we've learned in this chapter is to use the WCI form. So we'll use the perfect first, okay, and then the WCI second. So how would we do that? Well, we take shavar again. Which prefix is the first common plural prefix? It's a noon prefix, that's right. And the imperfect vowel pointing, which is also the same as the WCI vowel pointing, is nish bor with a holum, right? Nishbor. Have a dagesh lene in the bet because there's a silent shava here. Yishbor, tishbor, tishbor, tishburi, eshbor, right? All right, but the WCI doesn't just have the nutty prefix, but what else does it have? It has a vav. And is that vav going to have a special vowel pointing? It is, isn't it? It's va plus a doubling dot in the nutty prefix. So it's vanishbor. Vanishbor. So those are my two forms. Shavarnu, we broke. Vanishbor, and we broke. Okay? All right. Let's do number 2 real quickly. She sold. What do you need to know first? Well, the verb for selling, which is makar. That's right. And how do I make this makar third feminine singular? For the perfect, I add, that's 3FS, right? I add a comet, hey. What happens to the root 2 vowel when I add a vocalic ending like this? It reduces to a vocal shava. That's right. And to make sure that I preserve the long A and I don't treat it like a short O, a kametz ketuf, I put a metheg here. I will see a metheg usually. Machara. Machar, he sold. Machara, she sold. And then how will I say she sold using the WCI or Vayiktol form? Which prefix? Remember, I'm using the prefix conjugation now. 3FS is which prefix vowel or consonant? Tav. Good. So I'm going to put that tav there. And then mem, kaf, resh. What's my vowel pointing usually? Kirik, silent shava, and then holem, right? And is that a begad kafat letter? Kaf? Yes. The silent shava before. There's no vowel point. Begad kafat letters come standard with a dagesh lene, right? So I want to see a dagesh lene here. Timkor. Now that's just the imperfect. She will sell. I want WCI. She sold. So what am I going to put in front of this tav? A vav and a pathak and a doubling dot. So before I do that, that tav's got a dagesh lene because begad kafat letters come standard with the dagesh lene. Add the special vav pointing, and that's now a dagesh forte. Vatim kor. Vatim kor. She sold. So that's the two ways to do it. Okay? Anybody want to look at any of these other ones? What did I have you do? The first 6 for these? Okay. Anybody have any questions about the other 4? Yeah, let's do number 6 real quickly. So we have they rested. Okay. So what's the verb for to rest? Shavat. Shin, beit, tav, right? Now, the 3ms is shavat with the long A, short A, but here we're doing they. So in the perfect conjugation, what is the personal ending for they, the third common plural ending? No, that's she. It's u. It's a shurik, right? Shavatu. Shavatu. Now, what will happen to this pathak when I add that vocalic ending, that vowel to the top? It's going to reduce to a vocal shava. So it's shavatu and a metheg to preserve that long A vowel pronunciation. Shavathu. They rested. That's using the perfect conjugation. Now we use the WCI. How do we do that? Well, we use our root letters, but what is the third masculine plural prefix conjugations, prefix and suffix? Going to yod prefix and shurik, u, after. Good. The vowel pointing is normally yish, boat, and I don't know why I put another bet here. That's supposed to be a tav, right? So it would normally be yish, boat, do, but again, add a vocalic ending, the vowel in root 2 goes to vocal shava. So yish, b-tu. And there's a silent shava here. The bet needs a dagesh lene. Yishbatu. Yishbatu. Now remember, we're not done yet. This is just the imperfect 3MP. They will rest, but we're trying to do the WCI 3MP. And they rested. So what do I need to add to the yishbatu? Got to add the vav, pathak, and got to put that doubling dot in there. So va yishbatu. Va yishbatu. So both of these, shavatu and va yishbatu, mean they rested. Okay? All right. Now let's look at the next section. What you're to do is to translate these future tense verbs using the imperfect first, and then using the perfect plus vav consecutive or the WCP. Okay? So let's do number 1 real quickly here. So they will write. How would I do that in the imperfect? What's the verb for write? Kathav. Kaf, tav, beth, right? Kathav. They, here it's a feminine plural they, 3FP. So which prefix and suffix in the imperfect do I use for that? Yep. It's going to be tick and na, right? That's 3FP. So what's the vowel pointing? It's tick, silent shava, tov, right? Tick tov. Add the na, tick tov na. I need a silent shava under the bet, and the accent is on the second root letter. Tick tov na. Now, is that a begat fat letter, that tav? Yes? What's it come standard with if it's a begat fat letter? Dagesh lene. Let's put it in there. Now, is there any vowel to blow it out? Nope. Nope. That's a silent shava, isn't it? So this is perfectly good. What about that tav? That needs one too. Is kaf a begat fat letter? Yes, it should come with a dagesh lene. Does something make it go away? Yeah, the vowel before it. Any vowel sound before the begat fat letter always blows out the dagesh lene. Okay? So the way to say this is tich tovna. Tich tovna. So they will write. Add a va in front of it, and it doesn't mean they will write, but they wrote. WCIs are always past, but this is just a simple imperfect. Now, how will I write this using the WCP form? I'm going to be using the perfect conjugations endings. What do I use for they, feminine plural? I use the u, which is what I also use for they, masculine plural, right? They is the same in the perfect, whether it's masculine or feminine. So ka, tha, vu. So I'm going to have a shurik there. And, oh, I'm off the screen here, aren't I? Okay, see that there? So it'll be ka, th, vu, right? And then what's going to go on front of it? A vav. Will I use a special vav pointing for this? Or do I just use the normal vav pointing in the WCPs? The WCIs have the special one. I have the va plus the nutty imperfect prefix. Here I just use the normal vav pointing, which is a vocal shava, normally, not a pathak. And then sometimes v switches to what? Oo. Okay, I don't have to switch it to oo here. There's no bump consonant, and there's no vocal shava under the consonant that I'm attaching v to. Yep. So there's two situations. V goes to oo before bump letters. That's one situation. And v goes to oo if my first letter of the word has a vocal shava. Because otherwise I'd be putting a vocal shava in front of a vocal shava, and I can't do that. So it switches to oo. All right, so here it's v'kathavu. V'kathavu. They will write. Notice that kaf is a begat kafat letter. Why is there no dagesh lene? Because the vocal shava before it blows out the dagesh lene. All right? Tav is a begat kafat letter, but the vowel before makes it go away. Bet is a dagesh, should have a dagesh lene. It's a begat kafat letter, but the vocal shava here causes it to go away. Okay? So I have 3 begat kafat letters, and none of them have a dagesh lene. Something made them go away. Okay? All right. Any other questions about any of these, 1 through 6? Number 5. Okay, good. Let's we'll put the imperfect on the right side. So I shall reign using the cal imperfect form. Which person gender number is I? It's 1CS, right? So which prefix do I use? So I is prefix aleph, right? What are the root letters for reigning and ruling and kinging? Melech, right? Mem, lamed, kaf. So what's my vowel pointing in the imperfect? Segol. Aleph does like segol. Silent shava. M. And what's my theme vowel with root 2 usually in the imperfect? Holam. M, loch. And final coughs, usually going to see what? A silent shavah in those. Emloch, I shall reign. Emloch. Simple imperfect, 1 CS. Now the other way I can say I shall reign is to use a WCP form. Now here, I'm going to have to use the perfect conjugations personal endings in the 1 CS. And so the verbs malach, and I'm going to add what to the end? For 1 CS. I translate it normally as I did something. Malach T. But we're going to add a vav in front. And this will then be I will malach, not I did malach, right? Now, accent, I could see it here, malach T. I might see it on the back in the WCP. Sometimes the accent shifts to the back on these consonantal endings. One more thing though, can I put the normal vav vowel pointing before a mem? No, that's a bump consonant. So the v is going to shift to a shurik. So it'll be u. U malach T. Okay? I'll put that one in parentheses. So I shall reign. Emloch and u malach T.
So sometimes it'll be normally in root 2, but sometimes it'll
Yes, yes. So WCPs can shift the stress to the end. Okay? So a WCP could have it either place. On the other hand, if you are looking at it from the standpoint of what's actually there, if you come to a verb form and it says u malakti and the accent's there, the perfect never puts the accent there. So that can only be a WCP form in that case. Okay? All right. Any other questions about these? I don't mind doing one more if you want. Let's do he will cut real quickly. What's the verb for cutting? Karat. Yep. Do you think of diamonds have a certain cut and carrots and stuff like that? So maybe that helps. Karate, karate chop. Or you can cut carrots as well, right, in the kitchen. So karat. He will cut. What's the prefix I'm going to use for the imperfect of karat? He is 3ms. So what prefix is used for that? A yod. And is there a suffix? Nope. It's just that. So, yep. Kurik, silent shavah, and what theme vowel? Holem. Good. So yik wrote. Yik wrote. He will cut. And then I could use the WCP form, which is to basically use the perfect 3ms and put a vav in front of it. What's that? This one's easy. Karat is he cut with a vav. He will cut. Now, is that the way I want to point that vav? Yes. There's no vocal shavah under the cough to make me have a problem, right? And the cough is not a bump letter. So I get the normal vav. Can I leave the dagesh lene in that cough, though? It's a begad kafat letter, but a vocal shavah comes before it. It's going to blow out that dagesh lene, isn't it? Yep, so it'll be v'charat. V'charat. He will cut. All right, great. Okay, so section D, here we have the translations from Hebrew into English. Any particular questions you have on the ones that you were assigned here? We'll look at number 2 here. And what I want to do first of all is I'm going to just highlight the verbs for you just so that you can see those more easily. Yishpatu, hazakanemuto, V'lakahu otho chutz ha'ir, v'haragu otho sham. Okay, so there's actually 3 clauses. 3 statements are being made here. The first verb, is that a perfect, imperfect, WCI, or WCP? Yishbatu. That's an imperfect. And you would normally take an imperfect as what time frame? In the future. Okay, so we'll give it future semantics in our translation. Now look at the next verb. I have v'lakahu. V'lakahu. That is lakach with a shurik. There's no nutty prefix here. So that looks like a perfect, doesn't it? But it also has a vav in front. So what did we learn? Those are typically WCPs, and they're often in sequence with an initial imperfect, right? And that means I want to translate this as future in keeping with that first one as well. So let's go ahead and look at this. What's shafat mean? To judge. Yishpatu, if we take it as future, yod prefix, shurik on the backside, that's they will judge. Now, do I use the pronoun they, or do I have an explicit subject here? I have an explicit subject. I've got my verb first. My subject is masculine plural. That makes sense with that third masculine plural imperfect. So the zakenim will judge. Who are the hazakenim? The elders will judge. Otho? No. This is the direct object marker et with a pronoun suffix. Which pronoun is Holam Vav? That's his if it's attached to a noun. Here, it's just marking the direct object. So it is 3MS. So the elders will judge who? Him. Exactly. So I remember, when I have the pronoun attached to the object marker, I just translate the pronoun. The elders will judge 3MS, him. V'lakahu. Now that's a WCP with a shurik on the backside, so that's 3CP, right? So the elders will judge, and they will lakach. And they will what? And they will take otho. Who's that again? Him. Where? Chutz. Outside ha'ir, the city. And look, what do I have here? This is harag. Look at the verb form. Is this using the prefix conjugation with any of the nutty prefixes, or is it using the suffix conjugation, the perfect forms? It's just using the suffixes, right? That's a shurik on the backside with no nutty prefix. But it's got a vav, so this looks like a WCP, doesn't it? Third common plural. And which time frame? It's in sequence with an imperfect and a WCP, and then another WCP. So I'm going to translate it as future. So they will take him outside the city, and they will harag, and they will slay him, sham, there. Okay? So you see how these 3 sentences go together. The imperfect kicked off a sequence of future forms, and the WCP forms carry forward the narrative or the futuristic prediction. All right, good. Any other ones you want to look at real quickly here? Let me just point out for number 1, we have pakad, Elohim. Is pakad a perfect or an imperfect? It's a perfect. So Elohim here probably appointed at Hanavi, the judge, right? The prophet. And then we have vayikbots. Vayikbots. Is that a WCI or a WCP? It's a WCI. I've got a prefix, don't I? Got one of the nutty prefixes before root 1. So this is a perfect followed by a WCI. What time frame are these going to be? They're both going to be past. God appointed, and he did something past time. What's kavatz? Gathered. Now, who did the gathering here? I've got a verb. Now the subject is after it. And the prophet gathered. Which prophet? Hanavi hahu. The prophet, that is to say, that prophet gathered at B'nai Hanaviim. Whom did he gather? The sons of, see my Canadian ending here? This is a construct chain. The sons of the prophets. Exactly. And then number 3, I have Vayhi Ba'erev. Vayidreshu Hagiborim et Hanavi Velo Zachar Otham. I have 3 clauses here. The first one is a Vayhi plus a prepositional phrase. What did we learn that does? Is Vayhi a WCI or a WCP form of the verb haya? It's a WCI, actually. V'haya is WCP. So this is going to be past, right? So ba'erev means in the evening, but not in the evening coming up, but in the evening last night, right? Past. In the evening, what happened? Vayidreshu, that's a WCI, so that's past. In the evening, Hagiborim darashed, past time. The warriors sought. In the evening, the warriors sought. Remember, don't translate the vav here with this type of a construction. In the evening, the warriors sought at Hanavi, the prophet, direct object marker, don't translate it. Velo Zahar Otho. Who's doing the remembering? How many persons? Zahar is 3ms. And is it perfect, imperfect, WCI, or WCP? It's a perfect, okay? What happened here? I started with a WCI, continued with a WCI in past time. Normally I would continue with a WCI, but if I tell you what didn't happen, I put v plus lo plus I switch back to the perfect. Okay? So the warrior sought the prophet, but he did not, Zahar, remember, Otham. Which pronoun is that? 3MP, them. Okay? And remember, you don't translate the direct object marker. So he did not remember them. So this vav, usually we translate as and, but here we're telling you what didn't happen, and you'll often translate that vav as but. Okay? But he did not remember them. Okay, good. Well, we'll stop there.